So if you file bankruptcy, are you allowed to keep your bank accounts? Will a creditor seize your account? What's going to happen? So almost everyone nowadays has a checking account or a savings account or both. But when you file bankruptcy, what's going to happen to those accounts? And it's, of course, a very legitimate question because we all need to have access to our money, even though we might be going through some financial hard times, and we do have to file for bankruptcy. So here's what you need to keep in mind. Number one, when you file for bankruptcy, if you bank with one of the creditors that you are discharging in your case, you need to get your money out of that account. You need to make sure your direct deposit has been shut off or it's been transferred to another bank that you do not owe any money to. So you can have a bank account when you're in bankruptcy, but it needs to be with a bank that you don't owe any money to. Because what happens is banks will cross-collateralize their accounts. So if you have a Wells Fargo bank account and you have a Wells Fargo credit card, as soon as you file bankruptcy, Wells Fargo will just look, say, oh, there's some collateral, and they'll take it. So you need to make sure that before you file for bankruptcy, you either don't have any money in any bank accounts that you also owe a debt to, or you simply just close those accounts and make sure you are banking with a bank that you don't owe any money to. One other note I will say is, speaking of Wells Fargo, here in Georgia, at least, Wells Fargo has a policy that even if folks don't owe Wells Fargo any money, if they have over, and I think right now the threshold is $5,000, so if they have a total of $5,000 in any of their Wells Fargo accounts, even if they don't owe Wells Fargo will freeze the accounts temporarily and notify the trustee. Now, so far, that's the only bank we've seen here in Georgia doing that, but you need to be aware, it could be different in your state, there could be different policies. You need to be aware of that if you've got, quite a bit of money in your bank account. Of course, you can protect any kind of assets with exemptions, and you can follow that with your attorney when you get ready to file. But in terms of bank accounts, no matter where you are, make sure that if you are banking with someone but you also owe money to that creditor, just make sure you don't have funds in that account when you file for bankruptcy so you don't get a nasty surprise. Oh, and on a final note, if you are on your children or your parents' accounts, even if it's not your money, guess what? They're still going to get frozen. So go back and make sure your name is not on any of those accounts. We've seen that where clients forget that they're on their mom. They might have an elderly parent and they're on their accounts, just so they can help them out or watch over things. But when you're going to file bankruptcy, you need to make sure your name is not on those accounts. Same thing goes for your kids. Save everybody a lot of hassle, and just make sure that when you file, your name isn't on any bank account, or you have no money in that account with a bank that you also owe money to.